Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And we just got the Demon Lord Lumi's Sanguine Dance. What a name. Can't imagine what that looks like in Japanese kanji. But it is a pretty, I'd say, reasonably easy place to grind up. You have, hammers, platinum hammers, much less. You've got some missions that also give you hammers and the currency, the black crystals that you can take into the shop. And it actually has some decent stuff in here. Like, it's got shards, it's got 3 platinum hammers, gold hammers. Honestly, like, there's missions to do the event like 100 times. Whether or not you want to do that, it's like bitch tickets. So, but I do recommend you at least get enough currency to get all of the not easily farmable stuff out of this shop, which I referred to the shards, the platinum and gold hammers to an extent, and then the EX rocks and the rainbow rocks. Everything else out of the shop is easily farmable and not really worth the time. So I would do just enough to clear out the shards, the hammers, and the EX rocks and the tower potions maybe, and the rainbow rocks. Everything else is, literally up to you. But those are the things I recommend people buy out of the shop first and foremost. Whether you want to get the 4-star shards and the other hammers and the Valor gear is entirely up to you. I don't really think it's too worth it. You could spend your stamina on other things. But let's go back to the event and check out the actual missions there are for it. So we have 9 turns or less, 11 turns or less, 5 alive, and then 5 alive 3 times, 2 defense skills, 2 body spirit skills, and 2 magic skills, and then a 6 combo of greens, blues, and oranges. Now, I have this team built right here, and if we check it out, it's the Vengeance team, which is going to work really well because it is also set up for turn 1 blue hand. But if we look at the skills, we have Body and Spirit, Body and Spirit, Body and Spirit, Body and Spirit, Body and Spirit. We have Defense skill with the skill fuse Zoe. He doesn't even need to be skill fused, he just has a defense skill by default. And then we have Magic, 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 Magic. So we have all 3 of the necessary skills to clear the missions out, alongside having the turn 1 orb change for, full greens, and then you bring in like 2 more teams that are orange and blue focused. The orbs are not nerfed in any way in the stage, so it's nice. But before we jump into the stage, I do want to show off one little thing I learned. Okay, so this is the next difficulty down. It's, extreme, and I still got some missions to do here, including a 6 combo of blue and 6 combo of oranges. However, it is interesting to note that the rainbow unity orbs count for all 3, which I will demonstrate to you in this clip here. Alright, so we're in. I had to wait a little bit because I didn't bring an orb stealer for this team, but we have 6 Rimuru orbs, which means that we can convert those into 6 rainbow orbs. We're running a green-focused team, which I've already cleared that mission, so when we clear this, eventually, these 6 rainbows will count as both the 6-hand of blue and 6-hand of orange mission. So let's go ahead and send this, and then we'll just fast forward to the mission clear, and then you can see that both missions are done, even though we did not send a full hand of blues or a full hand of oranges this entire time. Okay, so now when we go back into the missions, I only have the 2 defense skills and the 3 characters, or 5 alive times 3. And if we go into the completed missions over here on the tab, you can see now that when the extreme difficulty with 6-hand of blue and a 6-hand of orange, and the rainbow orbs do count for all 3 types of orbs. So if you need a team that can do the 6-handed blues, oranges, and greens, and you want to do it in one run just to save time, you can use either the Visions of Coleus Rimuru or the New Year's Rimuru to get that done. But now with that information put out, let's begin the actual team showcases. Oh look, a Vengeance team. Who'da thunk? But regardless, we are built for this stage, realistically. I mean, it does have a turn 1 starting hand of green and orb change to blue, so Isis or Yom can take care of that. We're bringing the skill point units, so Soe and Lumi, so we can start off with 42 skill points, so we can use both the Orb Change and the green buff from Isis. We do have multiple skills that we need, so Body and Spirit changing pointy stars, magic changing skills, the hexagons, and then we have a defense skill from Soe, which we need to use twice, and twice in order to get those missions done. This will get you the full hand of greens turn 1 as long as you bring an orb changer for turn 1. So, I mean, as long as you don't die, you will win. And who'da thunk? As long as you don't die, you win. I'm going to speed this up, though, to like 150%. Yeah, so, I mean, this team is pretty glue eatery, right? It's orb change, vengeance, orb change, vengeance, orb change, vengeance, and eventually you'll do enough. If you happen to get very lucky, unlike me, you will not get too many oranges, but even though I brought a dedicated orange orb converter, we, for some reason, keep getting a whole bunch of oranges. If I didn't have to bring Soe for his defense skill, I would have brought Trya, and it would have made it probably a whole butt ton easier. Or maybe I would have just taken Shuna out and just brought Trya. But I wanted to use Shuna because I don't really get that many chances to use Furry Shuna. And the Veldora, like the Vengeance Veldora that came with this meta is pretty not useful here. Like, he's got the weakness buff, which no one's super weak, or no one gives type advantage against a neutral Lumi, so that buff is irrelevant. And then the extra alt damage, it's like, this is a defense team. Why do I want more alt damage? Even if Shuna could, swap her stats around, it's like, if I'm not bringing Shuna, then what's the damn point? So, honestly, don't worry about Shuna. Bring Trya. Bring another orange orb changer or something. Bring another orb changer of any sort. You can just run with Vengeance Yom and Raphael and Belzard, and you can pretty glue to this team. Like, look at this hand. We got 4 oranges with another on the way. Like, it really didn't want to work out for me. Which is fine, because it still manages to do it. It's just highly unfortunate that it turns out like this a lot of the time, for me personally. But the Vengeance team is the most basic of basic teams. I would say it's... Actually, would I call it more or less glue eatery than the Idol team? Well, the Idol team, you need to be on Pretty Sparkle for that to work. You don't need to be a member of the Vengeance team to actually benefit off of Vengeance. So it's like, you could make a case either way, I guess. But if you have the Idol team, which I don't do it in this video, I'll probably do it in the part 2 video for this. The Idol team, 100%, as we proved in like the first part of this video, just trying to get up to that point, is able to clear the lower difficulty of this, so there's no reason why it can't clear the higher difficulty, especially when not going for a specific rainbow orb mission, because, Shuna was low, but that team also has a dedicated healer, and it's invincible, so we're gonna be fine. 7 turns in, we're looking fairly good, I guess, but another triple orange hand, which we can change out of this. But instead, we go ahead and swap everything out and make it a full Isis hand, which, also works. It means I don't have to orb change anything. We'll just put some extra defense up. You do have to make sure you use both defense skills on this run if you end up bringing Soe. More defense units could be, Space Reamer has a defense skill. It's any pentagon-shaped, 5-sided skill. So, as long as you have 2 of those, it honestly doesn't matter. There's a lot of units out there that we just don't use that are relevant, that have the skills. Everyone has an orb-changing skill, right? So that's easy to do. Body and Spirit changing skills are any heal skills. Space Milim's Drago skill is a Body and Spirit. So there's more than a few units. The Frostbite skills of the Velzards, they have it. I think some of the Burn... No, that's an attack skill, isn't it? Yeah. For like Violet. Never mind, not the Burn. But there's a lot of units that do that. The defense skills, since we don't get defense metas that often, are a little bit more uncommon, but they still do exist for a lot of people to use. So, I think free-to-play Darkness is a taunt that's considered a body and spirit changing skill, huh? Yeah, like Earth 2.0 could probably work here. It'd be fucking awful, because it would literally take forever, but it could work. But yeah, Glue Eater Vengeance team. I think this is the turn we kill. So we've got 47 stacks on, plus whatever she's going to put it on after she hits us. So 1, 2, so 49 stacks, and we do 280k. There we go. Vengeance. It works. It's dumb, and it works. Moving on. Alright, next up is going to be a New Year's team-ish. We've got Shion, Rimuru, Diablo. Can't use Milim at all, so she's not a factor. Physical Rimuru, Hinata, and then Octogram Lumi. So alt damage, element damage, physical damage. His weakness buff does not apply here because she is type neutral. So that's not really going to help us. But the attack buff that we get for Rimuru will still take effect alongside the synergy and crit from Shion. So this is hopefully going to do it in less than the, 9 turns that the Vengeance team did it in. We just don't have an orb changer for turn 1, which is kind of unfortunate. You could swap out maybe Lumi for Isis or something to get the team off and running. It really doesn't matter too much in the long run how this works out, but let's go ahead and do this. We're actually going to take Rimuru out of here as well. See if we can get a good turn for him next hand, and we'll just go ahead and send this. Okay, so the name of the game obviously is going to be burst damage as much as physically possible. And because we're not starting with that much protection gauge, we're not really able to get it cycled very fast. So, what can we do here? Actually, not a lot. I'm going to tell you that right now. But what we can do is we can bring in Rimuru for Lumi. Boom. And then we can bring in Diablo for Hinata. Yeah. And then we can give away. It'd be really nice if this was a Diablo orb right here, because we could give it away. But we're just going to have to make do with it. So give away, and then the ult buff, or the orb buff here. Boom. And then let's go ahead and rainbow it. That way we can make a full combo. Not the most efficient way of doing things, but definitely it works out, and we do get an EX ult for this Rimuru now. Now we just need to use a few skills to get him up to max power. We're going to take this ult. We have no defensive capabilities whatsoever. Thankfully, she doesn't hurt too much. But let's go ahead and get Lumi in here for Diablo. And then let's get a stack of her buff going. And then let's get Hinata in here for physical Rimuru. And I think we just go ahead and use Rimuru's buff here now. Get it done early, since it does last for 2 turns. We'll use Shion, convert this to a 5-hand of orange, and then do some damage. And the next turn we'll apply the Hinata buff and send Rimuru away. And, okay, counter. 14.5k is not bad damage. 22k right there is pretty good. Alright. Oh, counter. Alright, sweet deals. Crit resistance down. The ult has come back. We have 130 points. Let's use another stack of the ult. Let's use the element buff now. And then we're going to send him away, because I want him up next turn. I want him to nuke next turn. So this gives us a pretty nice hand, and I'm going to actually use the future hand of oranges as well to guarantee that we get some good stuff out of this. We'll get an ult for Diablo, guaranteed, and probably Hinata as well. So maybe the full hand of orange wasn't the best, because we're going to have 3 ults essentially. But it does give us that extra gauge increase, which I think gave us just enough to get another Shion. And this should be the last turn that we get any extra points for her. Did we get a Lumi orb? I don't think we did. I don't think we did. We did not. Okay. So, I think we just send this hand and call it a day. Yeah, because we already used everything else. We just need to use the big buff here. So, yes. Let's do another ult buff here. A little bit of a heal. So I guess we do have technically some kind of defensive capability. And then... So, we're not going to have enough. Okay, we're going to have to push another turn before we can get the physical buff on Rimuru. So maybe not the greatest style of team to use here, especially when it's not catered to its turn 1 orb change to really get it off and running. 71 points. Okay. Let's do that. That's 90, 18,000. I honestly, Reamer is probably not going to do that much damage here. He'll do like probably like 200k or something, but her defense is leaving though, so that's nice. We waited for the most opportune time to do this. So you'll come in for Diablo, he has the most orbs. Rimuru will come in for Hinata, who has no orbs. We'll use the physical buff. We've gotten 3 stacks of Lumi now, which is pretty good. 60% alt gauge, plus the attack buff, plus the element buff, plus the physical buff, plus the physical debuff. And we're going to be looking probably pretty good here. Lumi does not a lot. 15.8. Alright, cool. Rimuru does 418. Okay, actually quite a bit more than I thought he was going to do. And then we'll have some good follow-up here. Okay, 73.5. It's turn 8 coming in here now. We have another ult, so I'm fairly certain we'll be able to kill, even without some of the other major buffs that we have going on. So we'll just Shion again, give ourselves this, and pray that this ult is enough to kill. 85k. Does this 200% kill her on turn 8? Oh, not quite enough. If we had brought someone else in for Lumi who would have gotten the physical crit and damage and everything like that, we probably would have taken care of her. But, I mean, here we go. We did beat her, technically. It wasn't really pretty, I would say, but it worked. Let's do something else now. Alright, for the last team of this video, we're going to use a really janky Visions of Coleus team. Since we can't use any of the Violets, we can't use Guy, we can't use Jean, we're down to using Coleus, Rimuru, Blanc, and Protector Lumi, and then we brought Albus, Space Rimuru, who is skill fused, and then Water Shuna. So we'll have Rainbow plus the blue orb change, the green orb change, the orange orb change, the Pierce buff, the attack and ult resistance down, the ult buff, and then the synergy resistance down, because the weakness buff doesn't matter here. Again, not running a turn 1 orb changer, but it should work out fairly well by the time we get up to the nuking point. Alright, so turn 1, let's go ahead and bring Shuna in for Rimuru, and then we'll go ahead and just send this. We just need a good hand of blues right here. So if we can convert it with Coleus, Rimuru, and Albus, then we'll be looking pretty good. That works too. Now we can use Shuna and Albus here. And that'll get us double protection gauge next turn, so that'll look really, really nice. It's just that we're not going to make a lot of points off of this 6-hand of blue, because we're just not. So Shuna can come out, and yeah, we'll just do that. So double hand, 66 points back, so we're gonna have to really pray that we get some good RNG here on turn 3. And okay, counter's not great. Oh, well, I mean that's pretty good. That's pretty good right there, because we can just bring in Coleus Rimuru, convert that, and we have enough to use both his convert and his convert first, and then the rainbow. So boom, boom, and that's going to get us a lot of gauge coming off of this. So even though we weren't able to get it turn 1, we're going to make a lot of it back right here, right now. Plus, we're going to get very close to the Rimuru EX ult. Not really who I want to nuke with, but it's better than nothing, and it is a very early full rainbow hand, which will just help us stack even faster. Alright, synergy 15.9k is pretty good. Alright, ow, that kind of hurt. Let's do another stack, because both of them are going to get the effects of it. Albus does not, but she at least gets the synergy rate. So here, we can go ahead and alt swap, green orb change, and then we'll bring Shuna back in, and we will orange orb change. And I think we'll just, we'll take Albus out of here. Her ult is not really that impactful to the outcome of this match. Her skill is, but not her ult. Because she's, well, I think physical units do a little bit better in here than anything else, any magic teams, but I don't really care. Okay, so we are taking some damage. Blanc, oh, ow, that hurt. Alright, you gotta go, sir. Okay, so we're gonna have to pray that we can do enough damage when we have enough points. I don't actually know how many points we need to nuke here, actually. 55, 55, so that's 110, so 190, 280 points, 270 points, 270? Okay, we'll get that this turn. We just have to make sure no one dies here. So, we'll get Rimuru out of here. Goodbye. And then we'll alt swap orb change defense buff, because we're taking a little bit of damage, and I don't really much like that. So, we can get close to a Blanc ult, EX ult here, or closer, and then we just have to survive. So I just really want to run the team as it is right now with as much defense buff from Rimuru as possible. Well, yeah, we say that. Okay, so, alt swap, and orb change, that's expensive. The Albus orb change, you can come in for turn 7. Coming in next turn, we'll take you in for Shuna. The orb change here, and then another defense buff, so we can hopefully tank this ult pretty well. I really hope Blanc doesn't die here. Like, really hope, because this is going to get our EX ult, and I think we're ready to go, because we're going to have enough points to nuke, plus a double stack. Alright, so here we're banking it all on the nuke with Blanc on turn 7. Her defense is leaving, so that's awesome. Please don't... Okay, that's pretty good. It's pretty good right there. Okay, so... let's do the Pierce buff with Albus. Boom. And then let's do the ult buff with Shuna. And boom. Water resistance down, doesn't matter because no one nuking is water. And then we'll bring Coleus Rimuru in, and then we'll use the other buffs. So the attack and ult resistance down, plus the weakness and synergy, which, again, weakness does not matter here because we are type neutral. 2 more stacks. This will affect everybody, I think. Yeah, because even Space Rimuru is on it, on the skill effect. And now we're probably looking pretty good. Probably being the keyword. Alright. So Blanc is sitting at 116% attack on the trait, Pierce power on the trait, which we're actually getting Pierce, so this actually matters. This Pierce power is coming off of my Protector Shuna support slot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Space Rimuru, 121k, alright. 103k, and then Blanc... we'll watch it. Look at those legs. Look at that personality. Look at those eyes. Yeah, I might be a little biased, okay? Might be why I 120'd her. And the word that I can't pronounce. Please kill. Alright, 663. We did kill. Alright, so there we go. There's turn 7, the Visions of Coleus-ish team with a few substitutions. Obviously, if your Space Rimuru isn't skill fused, you're going to do a little bit less damage, because that 30% ult resistance down is pretty impactful, but you could still do it. Maybe put a heal charm on the Protector instead of the blue gauge increase, but there we go. So there's 3 teams that can clear this. I'll come back with a part 2 video with another 3 or 4 teams maybe, depending on how quick they are. But let me know what you guys think. That's it for me. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.